Hello everyone. Thank you for joining this first session on CIS Controls Masterclass, a three-part webinar series on CIS Control. This is Satish Sahairaj Joseph from Zoho ManageEngine Strategic Account Management Team. For those who do not know about ManageEngine, we are a division of Zoho Corp. It has three main divisions: ManageEngine, Zoho, and WebNMS. WebNMS is an IoT of smart and connected enterprise. Zoho operating system for business, which is completely online. Zoho offers a variety of online softwares to run your business like CRM, communication tools like Zoho Mail, messaging app Click, Connect, Office suite of products like online word processor, Sheet, Zoho Show, the one that I'm presenting right now. ManageEngine offers software applications for enterprise, which will be the core discussion when we talk about the remediation factors on the CIS controls. It offers products in various verticals like Active Directory Management, ITSM, IT Operations Management, Endpoint Management, IT Security, Analytics, which offers AI and business intelligence for your organization, and it also offers products in the MSP realm. Now, CIS Controls, developed by the Center for Internet Security, the CIS security controls are a perspective, prioritized set of cybersecurity best practices and defensive actions that can help prevent the most pervasive and dangerous attacks and support compliance in a multi-framework era. The CIS Control 7.1 structures three distinct categories like basic, foundational, and organizational. Setting aside these categories, basic, foundational, and organizational, in version 8, the CIS controls are prioritized based on implementation groups and security functions. On May 18th, 2021, the Center for Internet Security released version 8 of the Critical Security Controls CSC, a business and technology agnostic set of recommendations that all organizations to consider and follow to prevent the most prevalent and dangerous attacks. One of the most evident changes in CIS version 8 is the shift from the top 20 to top 18 controls. Yes, we are looking at 2 less controls, but that of course doesn't mean there is less to do. Rather, the recommendations have been reorganized and many were split up and moved around. The security functions like detect, identify, protect, recover, response, and implementation groups like the one we discussed earlier, group 1, 2, and 3. In version 8, importance is given to implementation groups. This is how we'll be conducting this webinar series. Today, we'll be discussing on IG1, and on the consecutive sessions, we'll be discussing on implementation to group 2 and 3. In most cases, an enterprise who implements IG1 is typically small to medium sized with limited IT and cybersecurity expertise to dedicate towards protecting IT assets and personnel. A common concern of these enterprises is to keep the business operational as they have a limited tolerance for downtime. What is the necessity of doing a webinar series on CIS control? So this is a request that we have received from our customers that we have almost all the products to be in compliant, almost, but we do not have a document or an organized structure to represent the same. Hence, some time back, we did a document on the same and if you have not checked our document on version 7.1, I can post that to you in this window. So you can download and use that as a reference. This webinar series, yes, it is the continuation of the same. So without further delay, let's dive into today's topic, implementation group 1 in the CIS controls. The first security function, detect and identify, discusses on the identification of enterprise data in your organization and how you can identify and what is that you want to maintain an inventory about. The first security function, Deduct, collect audit logs, speaks about collecting audit logs, ensure that logging is enabled on all enterprise assets as per the enterprise audit log management process. This shall include network devices, servers, and even end users' machines. ManageEngine Log 360 support collection of log sources from various devices sources of your organization, like Windows infrastructure, databases like Oracle, MySQL, firewall, IDS IPS systems, hypervisors, both Microsoft and VMware, Linux and Unix systems, even your networking devices like routers and switches. And if you have vulnerability scanners, we can even import those logs into our Log 360 solution. Web servers, servers workstation, cloud platform, and other applications. Here, you'll be configuring your resources to send the necessary logs, SNMP traps, syslogs, event IDs to our Log 360 solution, and this solution can generate reports on historical data, also generate compliance reports on the collected logs. Now comes the next set of security functions, identify. Identify asset and software inventory. Now, this can be achieved by various ManageEngine products. The first solution that we are going to talk about here is the Asset Explorer. Asset Explorer can help you identify and manage assets in your infrastructure. We can scan your infrastructure and can bring in complete inventory data. Now, if you would like to have incident management along with asset inventory, then we can look at our Service Desk Plus solution, which has the inbuilt asset module or the Asset Explorer product. So if it is just the inventory of your infrastructure, workstations, servers, even non-IT devices, we can rely on Asset Explorer. And Service Desk Plus offers you additional functionalities along with these asset module. It offers ITIL functions like incident management, service catalog, change, release management, CMDB, and so on. Or you can look at our another inventory software, Desktop Central. So this Desktop Central cannot just do inventory management on Windows, Mac, or Linux. It can also do inventory on mobile devices, iOS, Android, Windows, Chromebooks, and so on. If you'd like to have inventory along with patch management, now this would be the right tool. The advantage of having solutions from a single vendor is the out-of-the-box integration they can offer. Desktop Central can either be integrated with Service Desk Plus or Asset Explorer and can provide you with single UI experience for your end users. When we talk about software inventory, again, the same set of products, Asset Explorer, Service Desk Plus, or Desktop Central, can help you identify inventory of your infrastructure. This will ensure software inventory along with vendor details, installed date. You can also add additional fields to assets or software to note on custom details like business process, which can also be achieved using CMDB, Configuration Management Database of the Asset Explorer and Service Desk Plus products. This process of inventorying assets or software has to be reviewed periodically and updated inventory biannually or more frequently. This can also be automated with the help of the products that you just see, Desktop Central, Service Desk Plus, or Asset Explorer. And the next security function, identify and ensure software validity. We also have to ensure that the software installed and the version is currently supported by the vendor. Blacklisting and whitelisting of applications with the versions is necessary. Desktop Central with Applications Control Plus add-on, or this is also offered as a standalone product from ManageEngine, with which you can achieve this function by whitelisting applications. Any software that is not supported by the vendor has to be removed, which can be achieved by the Desktop Central product. If the software is unsupported and yet necessary for the fulfillment of the enterprise mission, a process, we should document the exception and when necessary, remove that particular application from your vendors list. Identify data inventory. The next security function, identify. So here we are going to talk about a solution, Data Security Plus, risk analysis module. Locating risky content such as PII, personal identifiable information, EPHI, and maintain an inventory of the personal data you store. You can scan for passport numbers, email address, credit card numbers, and over 50 other types of personal data with pre-configured and customizable data discovery policies. Automate the classification of files containing these informations, especially PII and EPHI, to better understand which files and folders need elevated data security measures. And the next security function, ensure a process for data management, identify user accounts, and especially users with administrative access. So here in Control CIS 3.1, the control talks about data management process, identifying data sensitivity, data owner, handling of data, data retention limit, and disposal requirements. The PAM 360 solution from ManageEngine allows users to store many types of sensitive data such as digital certificates, license keys, files, documents, photocopies. Resources of the above types are managed and can be shared using the PAM 360 solution. During retrieval, a link to the file is provided for it to be saved locally to the disk. And the next security function, identify user accounts, especially users with administrative access. The same solution, PAM 360, can help you on the same. PAM 360 facilitates automatic scanning and discovery of critical accounts to onboard privileged accounts into a centralized, secure repository for Windows, Solaris, Mac, Linux, Active Directory, VMware, and a host of network devices and databases. It also includes an option to set time frames and password discovery attempt limits. Upon discovery, PAM 360 allows randomization of resource passwords in accordance with pre-configured password policies. The next security function, identify the inventory of service providers. This is more of a business process. Who are all the providers that are giving services to your organization? An inventory of agreements you have with the service providers along with service level agreements have to be documented. So with this, we conclude the security function identify. and Deduct as well. The next set of security functions that deals with the security function protect. The first one is configuring data access control list. Protect access permission for local and remote files, databases and applications. Auditing of the file servers can be done via Data Security Plus, the product we already discussed on identifying data inventory version 3.1. Managing of passwords to databases, applications, and other resources can be handled using the PAM 360 product. So in this first control, configuring data access control list, we'll talk about two products, mainly PAM 360 and Data Security Plus. The next function, data retention. This is more of a business process where you'll have to maintain both minimum and maximum timeline. So any audit report you have, you need to make sure how long you want to store the data in your infrastructure. In most of the applications, they will have a data retention period like you see on the screen. You have to ensure that you configure the solution in alignment with the enterprise process. Any data retention policy guidelines should touch upon backup frequency. Relevant questions include, is there a risk of data loss? If so, how severe is that risk? Should we back up the data more than once a day? If so, how often? How long should we keep the data? And how does it change depending on the type of data, the severity of the data? Let's give you an example of the retention schedule set forth in this kind of data backup and retention policies. Retain every daily backup for 7 days. Retain every weekly backup for 4 days. Monthly backup for 12 months. Every annual backup for 7 years. 7 years is a lot of time. Finally, ensure you eliminate any data silos or islands of data outside the data backup retention policy, including desktops, laptops, and remote offices. The next function talks about the disposal of data. When a file is deleted, the operating system does not completely remove the file from the disk. Rather, the file deletion removes only the reference to the file from the file system table. The file remains on the disk until a subsequent file is created over the original file. However, even after the file is overwritten, it is possible to recover data from the original file by studying the magnetic fields on the disk platter surface if the drive was manufactured before 2001. This is referred to as laboratory attack. Other drivers may contain data that can be retrieved with specialized software. This is referred to as deleted file retrieval. The only way to prevent these kinds of inadvertent file sharing or file access is to appropriately clean, that is, sanitize the hard drive or other media by performing a data wipe or overwrite, or to physically destroy the hard drive or other media before it reaches its next owner or destination. Encrypting data on end user devices. This would be a business process, and CIS itself has given us examples like the use of Windows BitLocker, Firewall, or DMCrypt. And the next set of security functions, secure configuration process and network configuration process. Here we're going to talk about two products, Desktop Central and Network Configuration Manager. Maintain configuration process for user machine. It can be workstations or mobile devices, servers. Consider networking devices like routers, switches, and access points. So with the help of Desktop Central and Network Configuration Manager, you can secure configurations for the devices. First, Desktop Central product offers a bunch of computer security configurations that can be deployed, aids in hardening the security of your endpoints like certificate distribution, firewall settings, permission management, secure ESB. Amp up the productivity of your network by deploying the computer configuration to all the computers in the network, like setting up environmental variables, power management, registry settings, shortcuts, and Wi-Fi settings. Deploy the desktop configuration and save ample amount of time in managing these desktops like display settings, file folder operations, copy, move, delete, group management, and legal notice. So this is on your endpoints, workstations, and servers. When it comes to network devices, with the help of network configuration management, you can schedule device configuration backups, track user activity, and spot changes by comparing configuration versions, all from a centralized web UI. Define automatic locking of enterprise assets. This is also a configuration you can set in the Desktop Central Power Management configuration to lock enterprise assets whenever the user steps away or the system is idle for a specific period of time. Implementing firewalls on servers, managing enterprise assets and softwares, use only secured connection like SSH, HTTPS, avoid using unsecured connections like Telnet and HTTP. Right? Let's move on to the next set of security functions. Protect, manage default accounts. So the first four security function, in this set of security functions, protect, we see managing default accounts, use unique passwords, restrict admin privilege to dedicated admin accounts, grant access, and revoking access. This can be achieved by PAM 360. We already discussed about the PAM 360 and its ability to discover and manage local accounts in your infrastructure. It has the ability to scan networks and discover critical assets to automatically onboard privileged accounts into a secure vault that offers centralized management. It offers AES 256 encryption and role-based access permission. AES function have been adopted and also recommended as an encryption standard by the US government itself. Role-based fine-grained user authentication mechanism ensures that the users are allowed to view the passwords based on only the authorization provided. All transactions through the PAM 360's browsers takes place through HTTPS. PAM 360's periodic password reset feature helps you achieve this by automating the process of scheduled password rotation, thereby eliminating manual password change procedures. While PAM 360 provides remote password reset for a wide range of individual target systems, scheduled password rotation can be done only at a secure group level. Password resets can be carried out either by agentless mode or by deploying PAM 360's agent in the remote resources. Talking about granting access and revoking, as we are aware, PAM 360 stores the password of remote systems and applications. Normally, organizations use tools such as remote desktop applications, PuTTY or Secure Connect to connect to the remote target systems. PAM 360's auto logon gateway feature provides an option to automatically connect to the remote target systems and applications without the need for handling passwords in plain text. Hence, the user will not even know the password but will have access to the resources for the specified period. So the first four can be very well achieved using the PAM 360 solution we offer. And the next security function protects, implement multi-factor authentication for application network access and administrative access. Now, there are two products, AD-Self-Service Plus and PAM 360 comes into the picture here. AD-Self-Service Plus offers endpoint multi-factor authentication to help organizations secure multiple points of access to organizations' sensitive resources. AD-Self-Service Plus endpoint multi-factor authentication secures access to Windows, Mac, and Linux machines. As you see on the screen, it provides access to a Linux box. Top VPN providers like Fortinet, Cisco AnyConnect, Pulse, and more. Endpoints supporting radius authentication such as Citrix Gateway, VMware Horizon, and Microsoft Remote Desktop Gateway. AD-Self-Service Plus protects access to cloud applications as well with multi-factor authentication. When single sign-on is enabled, users must always authenticate themselves in AD-Self-Service Plus first using the tried and tested Windows Active Directory domain credential and then using another factor chosen by you. For the second factor, AD-Self-Service Plus supports native factors such as SMS or email-based verification codes, as well as third-party authentication providers such as DO, RSA, Radius Server, and Google Authenticator. With PAM 360, you can provide access to network devices. The next, vulnerability management process. We offer Vulnerability Manager Plus, an agent-based software, an add-on to the Desktop Central product, but this is also offered as a standalone solution. So Vulnerability Manager Plus can scan software's devices that are present in the network for not just software vulnerability, but also zero-day vulnerability, system misconfiguration, high-risk software, web server misconfiguration. So it is not just stopping with endpoints, but also support web servers, Apache, Tomcat, IIS, databases like Oracle, Postgres, MySQL, Redis, and more. This is an add-on to the Desktop Central product. Automated patch and application management process. Vulnerability Manager Plus can very well do patch management. We have Patch Manager Plus or Desktop Central can achieve this process. So any solution, Vulnerability Manager Plus or Patch Manager Plus or Desktop Central, they don't just stop patching on Windows, Mac, or Linux operating system, right? But also third-party patching. It automatically identifies the new and latest updates, identifies the systems that need these updates and downloads and installs them. Desktop Central supports more than 1,000 plus third-party application that includes Adobe, Acrobat, Flash, Firefox, Thunderbird, Java, and more. The next, implement a process to audit logs, adequate log storage. In Control 8.1, CIS speaks about the process of collection, review, and retention of audit logs for enterprise assets. We talked about Log 360 in the first part of the session. This can be very well achieved by the same product. We already discussed that in the security function Deduct. I think it's 8.2, right? So here on the next one, adequate audit log storage. This can be easily achieved using a monitoring solution to make sure you have enough space to accommodate the collected logs, where you can also set thresholds. If the space is below 15%, get an alert to the networking team. This becomes further easy if the auditing solution itself monitors the disk space where the collected logs are stored and alerts of this if the free space goes below a certain limit. In this example, 5 GB. Either which ways, the compliance is achieved. So when you go with a dedicated monitoring solution, it monitors the performance attributes of the device and other devices in your infrastructure, along with the disk storage on your auditing tool. Or if the auditing tool itself monitors it, either which ways, the compliance is satisfied. Now let's move on to the next set of security functions. Protect. Use only supported browsers and email clients. Use DNS filtering services. In ManageEngine, we consider browsers to be an endpoint as well. They are the next big attack vectors through which organizations are targeted by cyber criminals. Most malwares is spread through browsers, making it a priority that IT teams manage and secure all browsers on their endpoints. Know what browsers are being used in your infrastructure, in your organization, and know if they are up to date. Managing browsers, add-ons, extensions, and plugins prevent cyber attacks by removing high-risk add-ons, extensions, and plugins. Ensures only trusted, authorized websites are accessed by filtering URLs. Stay compliant with browser security standards like CIS and STIG. Now, using DNS filtering services through the same solution, Browser Security Plus, you can deny access to websites that are not needed in the organization. This prevents users from visiting websites that aren't trusted, authorized in the organization. IT admins can define groups for sites using categories like social media, video streaming, productivity, business requirements, etc. Groups like social media and video streaming can be blocked to ensure that users' productivity doesn't drop. And you can also set exceptions when these are to be accessed by the executives of your organizations. Deploy anti-malware software and automatic update them. It's a business process that any malware in the current trend provides you. Disable autorun and autoplay of removable devices. With ManageEngine Device Control Plus, which is also an add-on to the Desktop Central product, you can disable autoplay. It is recommended to disable it when you are creating a policy to allow a particular device type so as to prevent automatic file launching when a device is connected to your enterprise assets. Protect recovery data. So here we talk about recovering data which is lost, which is encrypted, ransomware, things like that. We have a tool, Recovery Manager Plus, that can help you overcome any disaster caused by unwanted changes in your IT environment. But this supports a very limited Windows infrastructure, like backing up your AD, domain controller, Azure directory, Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, and Exchange environments. These can be managed from a single console, and you can restore any object, site, or mailbox whenever you need it. So this covers a portion of your infrastructure. And the next security function, ensure up-to-date network infrastructure. You have to make sure that you run the latest stable version of the software and are using currently supported offerings by the vendor. Now, Network Configuration Manager Plus can help you determine up-to-date software versions in your network devices. It can also report against end of support when all critical assistance for a product is discontinued by the vendor. End of sale, when a vendor stops selling a particular product or a version. Replacement parts often continues to be sold, so using such devices often occurs in an enterprise. Now, end of life is when a product has reached the end of its useful lifespan. These devices are usually obsolete, so using them is strongly discouraged. So using these reports, you can make sure that your network infrastructure like routers, switches, and firewalls stay up to date with the recommendations provided by the respective vendor. Establishing security awareness programs and train members of your organization on social engineering attacks. These security functions deals with business processes and how you train your workforce and how you have to implement them in your organization by conducting regular training sessions, picking and choosing various members of your organization with your security team and KT about these procedures. Moving on to the next set of security functions, authentication best practices. We have discussed about this, training workforce on authentication best practices. This includes MFA, multi-factor authentication, which can be accomplished using the AD Self-Service Plus product, not only for your endpoints, but also for critical applications and websites and cloud apps can be managed. PAM 360 for your network devices and local passwords, which usually have elevated privileges. Data handling and best practices. This also includes training workforce members on clear screen and desk best practices, such as locking their screen when they step away from the enterprise asset. Desktop Central Power Management configuration can help you to an extent to achieve this compliance. Unintentional data exposure, publishing data to an unintended audience when a file folder is shared. With Data Security Plus, you can monitor and report on the creation, deletion, overwrite, rename of those files when a data is shared with your end users. Reporting security incidents, training workforce members to be able to recognize a potential threat incident and be able to report such incident to a dedicated team or a person. Assets missing. Now, Desktop Central solution comes with a mobile device management add-on. We talked about how it can manage mobiles, iOS, Android, and Windows platforms, right? Not just that, Mobile Device Manager Plus supports OS update management. With Mobile Device Manager Plus, organizations can perform actions like updating immediately when a service pack is available for the mobile operating systems, or delay it for a specific duration. So if you want to do an update immediately, you can choose to deploy the operating system once it is available. This can be for security updates whenever it is released by the vendor. Delay it for a specific duration. It is always recommended because to test any updates released to ensure compatibility with the corporate and enterprise apps used in the organization. So that is why we use a delayed deployment. Mobile Device Manager Plus allows organizations to delay the update for a specific number of days after it's available on the device. The organization can also mandate the update once the testing is completed successfully, or allow users to manually manage operating system updates. You can also schedule the update, the third option we have in Mobile Device Manager Plus. The major operating system updates are generally data heavy, and downloading these updates simultaneously on multiple devices can lead to bandwidth choking and also loss of productivity, since all updates require a reboot. So to prevent this, in case of Android operating system and Chrome operating system updates, organization can specify on what time, what duration, we have to update these operating systems. So with these updates, you can make sure that the enterprise business is not affected, but then you'll also be able to deploy on a non-business or on a non-operational hour. You can go and deploy these on multiple devices. Using transmitting enterprise data over insecure network. So you have to train members on the dangers of connecting to and transmitting data over insecure networks, especially for enterprise activities. If the enterprise have remote workers, right now we only have remote workers, training must include guidance to ensure that all users securely configure their home network's infrastructure. So with this, we complete the security function protect. Now, recover talks about the establishment and maintenance of data recovery process, performing automated backups, and maintaining an isolated instance of recovery data. So we already discussed about Recovery Manager Plus that can help you to achieve to an extent on backing up certain parts of your infrastructure like domain controllers, Azure Active Directory, Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, and Exchange environment, right? So we can do that to an extent, but if it is a necessary that you want to do for workstations and servers and member servers, then we have to go for another recovery audit tools. So moving on to the next security function, respond. This will be the last security function we'll be discussing today, respond security function. Address unauthorized assets. Oputils can help you in rogue detection and rogue prevention with powerful switch port management capabilities, so you can gain control over who and what is connected to your network. Quickly find a computer or a user, as well as track down lost or rogue devices with a simple search on username, DNS name, IP address, MAC address. You can immediately shut down ports, mitigate threat, and alleviate network performance issues. The next security function, address unauthorized software. So we talked about Application Control Plus, which is also an add-on to the Desktop Central solution. So using application blacklisting, enterprise can instantly block applications that might hamper either the security or productivity of your enterprise. Top offenders include social media applications, games, and instant messaging apps. However, it is inadvisable to completely prohibit the use of such applications, because higher level employees may need some of these applications for work-related communications. To overcome this, Application Control Plus application blacklisting feature enables you to associate a blacklisting application with custom groups while keeping in consideration a user role in the enterprise, giving you the liberty to choose who is impacted by the blacklist rule. The next security function, disable dormant accounts. AD Manager Plus on-the-fly AD management ability allows you to manage or clean up the inactive or unused users and computer accounts in bulk, right from the report's generation. So once you generate the inactive users or computer report, you can select on the desired ones from the report and delete or disable or move all the selected objects. In this case, it can be a user object or a computer object to a different OU, or even enable the disabled ones using the management option located right within the report. And we also have an automation policy where you can create multiple automations to move inactive users, say inactive for more than 30 days or 60 days, move to a different OU and then delete after a specific period of time. So this option will help you achieve to be in compliant to disable dormant accounts in an automated way using AD Manager Plus product. Establish and maintain a remediation process. So this concept is on application vulnerability and once found, what would be the remediation process? So we discussed this about an Vulnerability Manager Plus. So this Control 7.2 application speaks about remediation on the identified vulnerabilities, which is out of the box available in the Vulnerability Manager Plus product, which is also an add-on to the Desktop Central solution. Designate personals to manage incidents, contact information for reporting security incidents or process to report incidents. We have to handle this with the business process in place. With this, we are completing implementation group 1. Hope this was an informative session. So I have shared with you tips and techniques that will help you to be in compliance. We all know seeing is believing. So while I go through these controls and show you how ManageEngine can be a fit for each of these security functions and subcontrols, detect, identify, protect, recover, respond. If you want to experience the same, you want to use any of these ManageEngine products in your infrastructure, we offer 30-day trial of any of the ManageEngine products that we just discussed, so you can download and evaluate. And if you think your organization would use an expert consultation, you can reach out to us with your questions to me-consulting@manageengine.com, and we'll be more than happy to help. So next Tuesday, August 10th, we shall meet again to discuss on implementation group 2. Thank you very much and have a great day.